Saying good morning once again to those of you listening to, of course, Classic Radio 105.5, 105.9 on the FM dial. Those of you viewing us via GBN TV, good morning to you. Those of you also via our social media platforms, good morning and welcome. Let me say good morning to my guest. That's Miss, of course, let me get her name right. That's Miss, of course, Gloria Belfon. Let me say good morning to her. Miss Belfon, good morning and welcome. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning to you, and it's nice being here this morning.
Certainly happy to have you here this morning. Our conversation this morning will, of course, yesterday being World Health Day, and of course, they were the theme that was it my health, my right. I think that's the actual overall theme for this year.
That's how the council's my health, my right.
My health, my overall theme. All right. And of course, you here representing this morning Grenada National Council on Aging. Tell us something about the council before we continue moving. Folks, there may be individuals here this morning say, does Grenada have a council of that nature? Grenada Council on Aging? And tell us about the council, maybe the reason for the formation of the council, if you can give all that information this morning. Tell us something.
All right. Well, the Grenada National Council on Aging, it's a voluntary, non-governmental, non-partisan, non-profitable organization. Yeah, and in 2009, the government of Grenada they approved the policy on aging. Then it was the Grenada National Policy for the elderly. Okay, and in that policy, there was the part of the policy actually was to set up a national council for the elderly. Okay, and that was done in the 8th of December, 2011, and was registered in August of 2012. Okay. Since then, we went on for a while until 2017. We went low. COVID came around and we were low. And on July last year, we decided to get
things revive again.
Yes, So we've been on since then. All
right, nice to hear about that. Now, our conversation this morning from the national, we're talking about health, because it's my health, my right. That's the overall theme for for being National, should I say, World Health Day yesterday. Yesterday was the actual official day for it, World Health Day. We want to talk a wee bit about health, because folks may say health, and as we were talking a bit of an off-air conversation, you said sometimes folks base health on your physical appearance. How you appear physically. That's how they deem health. So you look sick. Some folks may say you look sick and so forth. But health has different aspects of it. If we could say that, if you could look at it that way, different aspects of it. There's social health, and you want to talk a wee bit about that this morning. And explain first when you say an individual's social health. When you speak of that, where we come from?
Before I go there, let me just say that the purpose of the council is to create awareness. Yes. Create awareness and to advocate on behalf of older persons. Okay. Yes. Right. And our aim is to promote and foster a good quality of life for older persons in Grenada, Carriacou, and Peter Martinique. And my main purpose here this morning is just to create some awareness as to what our social health looks like. Yes. So, first, let me say that the WHO has a definition for health, and that definition is it says that health is a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being. All right. And that is, it does not mean that without the absence of sicknesses and infirmities and what have you. So apart from physical and mental health, there is what you call the social determinants of health. You have there are some factors that would determine our health. All right. Yeah. So yesterday being World Health Day, and I always say, since the organization could see it fit to set aside a day to be celebrated, it means that there has to be an importance
in terms of health.
But
overall health is always important.
Exactly.
Health is always important.
Exactly. And so every time we talk about health, like you say, people think about the first thing that comes to your mind
The physical
is
appearance.
the physical appearance.
So
the
true.
physical appearance, or sometimes you may think about the mental appearance. But we also have, like I said, the social determinants of health. And these are non-medical factors.
Yes.
They are non-medical factors that significantly influence health outcomes.
Explain that a wee bit to me. I sort of understand where you're coming from when you say the social part of it, but how can I determine my health on a social level?
Good. I'll get to that point. Let's just look at social determinants and some of the things that social determinants entail. We have the social determinants of health. They are conditions. They come about by conditions under which people are born,
All right.
or people grow, they work, they live, and age. And added to that, there are also some factors. There are some factors like wider forces and systems that shape the whole lifestyle. Good?
That could always curve your health.
Exactly. And even though you have the conditions, and remember I said the conditions, not where you're born, but the conditions under which you are born. Yes? So we have to look at the conditions, but also there are these factors that shape the conditions. Now with the conditions, individuals have a choice.
Yes.
To decide where they want to be born, how they want to live, how they want to age, how they want to work, where they want to work, what have you.
Yes.
And, as I talk about it now, it boils down to family planning. You can plan your family, yeah? Sometimes people think family planning to be just the use of contraceptives, but family planning does not start there. Family planning starts when you sit down and you decide what you want to be, where you want to be in life, where you want your children to be born, what sort of life you want to give to your children. So education plays a very important part.
Family planning could be that you don't want to have children.
Family planning could be that you don't want to have children. Exactly. So we're talking about these wider forces now and systems that are shaping the conditions of daily life. And these systems include economic policies, they include economic systems, they include climate change, they include development agendas, they include social norms, social policies, and political systems.
All right.
So, like I said, the way you live, where you're born, the conditions under which you were born, and so forth, those are individual decisions. People can make those decisions individually. But even though you make those decisions individually, there are some forces
that could actually curve your health.
Actually curve your health.
I'm gasping where you're coming from now with that.
And so what we want to do, what we're asking our people to do, the awareness we want to create is to let people know that, listen, your health doesn't only depend on your maybe getting diabetes or being mentalistic. In fact, the social determinants of health will lead to the diabetes, will lead to the mental aspect of it, the mental health you're going to have. Because, for instance, if you grow up in poverty,
yes,
obviously,
your quality of your food will diminish.
Quality of life is affected.
Yes.
Your nutrition is affected.
Yes.
Maybe you not have clean water supply. Your housing situation is affected, and all of these things you're not able to access health care. And maybe you might be able to go to the health center, see the doctor, but then the doctor would order some tests for you, some investigation. You can't afford it. You can't afford it. So these are factors that would affect one's health
in a social
way, and we need to create that kind of awareness. Let people know that these are areas we need to pay particular attention.
How can an individual go about, fixing those factors that of your social health? Okay, you were born in a particular way. or in a particular society, you're born in a community where the conditions for life is not the best. Maybe poor, living conditions. It affects you in some way that your mental health because of the violence and so in your community and so forth. How can an individual fix those issues up for themselves?
I said before, education.
Yes.
Education is very important. Even though one is born in an environment like you explained, if that child is being educated, yes, or if that child goes to school and receives quality education, that child can now make a decision as to what they want. Whether, do I want to stay in the same position? Yeah. Do I want to go any further? I mean, a lot of times you realize that back in those days, in my time when I was a little girl, you grew up in places where you had no pipe-borne water, the kitchen is outside, the bathroom is outside, and then as people grow older, they decide, no, I don't want that for my children. So I would
change that.
Conditions. Right. So in that same respect, you find people can make those decisions. You don't want that, not because your parents had it or because it was there. I would do it too. So education would cause people to think differently and plan differently, so that they can look after their health. You
mentioned also mental and social. Do they come together? Mental and social health, do they come together in some way or the other? Your mental and social health. Because I asked a question saying that if your mental health is deteriorated in some way or the other, would it also aid in your social health?
Well, actually, I think I want to say your social health.
Or is it the other way around?
Yeah, I think your social health can lead to your mental health. Yes, because your social status, your social lifestyle. Because listen, your social lifestyle can bring on stress.
Yes.
Can bring on all sort of worries, all sorts of things. And listen, when you turn right to turn left, you look up, you look down.
My conditions are no good.
Your conditions are no good. There's no help, nothing coming, no way out. Then it affects you mentally.
Yeah.
It affects you mentally.
That's where I should have said your social condition could lead to your mental condition, which will all in one deteriorate your health to some point.
Exactly so.
All right.
Exactly.
That's interesting. I was thinking in a different way, because someone may grow up having everything of a proper social way of life. Let's put it in reference in that way, or create an analogy in that way. I grew up having all the proper facilities in my home. My parents may have had a proper home for me, where my toilet facilities was indoor. I had running water and so forth. But still having all these great social needs that I have come across, but it still affected me mentally for some reason or the other. That's why I put the mental part of it, at least, that could bring down to you not having a proper social health after. It could go that way, because we know folks who may have grown up in proper facilities, but somehow their mental health deteriorated also.
But sometimes their lifestyle would have caused it. Even though they would have had all the amenities in life, everything that they need in life, their lifestyle, the peer pressure. Sometimes some children have everything that they need at home. The parents give them everything, but sometimes they don't want that, they don't want that. They want something else that they see outside there, that the other child outside who doesn't have what they have is having. Yeah. So all of that can cause pressure.
And it may not be something of a positive nature.
Exactly. It may not be something of a positive nature. And then the friends. Your friends, you can have all the things in life, but the kind of friends you keep, what you feed your mind with, that can lead you. You would have young people going into smoking weed, and we know, yes, it doesn't have the same effect on everybody. Some people, it has very negative effect on them. So, and then it would affect your mental status.
All right.
So, many factors can lead to mental status, your mental status, even though you would have had a very good, I've known of persons who've been in prominent families, but still end up with mental breakdown. And then it can be family, hereditary. You can have it from.
Now, my final question before we take a wrap this morning, because I'm seeing this conversation could go on for the entire morning. Sure. It could go on for the entire morning, because it does something that suddenly interests me. How important it is for individual to create that proper social way about themselves, that it does not affect them.
How do I answer this question?
Okay, well, when I say that, I mean to say it in this particular way. Try to maintain a proper social way about yourself, right? Yes, you may not, there are individuals who may not have grown up or have the facilities that you mentioned earlier, may not have this, may not have that. And yes, it may cause a breakdown in your health facilities, in your health, in your social health, as we're speaking of. But how can an individual lift themselves off? If I could reroute the question a wee bit. How can an individual, make themselves better, or individuals make themselves better and not get their social health deteriorated in some way or the other because of the surroundings that they were probably brought into the world via?
Again, I would say education
is a key
factor, because if you have knowledge, you would know how to go about life, what to do, because you would think some people have the things, but they don't use them. Yeah, some people would, like say for instance, food. There are some persons who can get good nutritious food at home, but they would prefer to go and buy some fast food.
So true.
So education, you need to know why you need a nutritious meal. You need to know what it would do to you, if you don't have a nutritious meal, how your body would suffer. Good? So I would say education, and we need to educate people about health. We need to educate people how to live. We need to educate people about the choices they make, because our choices would affect us.
All right. If there's individuals who are listening to us right now and wants to get in contact with the council for any way or other, any information you could share as relates to the council this morning?
Sure, we have information. You can call myself, Gloria Belfon, at 415-4613. And you can call Miss Vilma W. Thomas at 404-7310. 7310.
All right. Maybe going to leave one of those out for us.
I'm going to leave you a brochure.
One of those brochures that I could probably always disseminate that information as we move along. All right. Ms. Belfon, I want to thank you once again. Anything in closing before we take a wrap this morning?
All I want to say to persons is that I want us to be aware that the circumstances, the conditions under which we live can really affect our health outcomes. It can affect it adversely, and it can affect it positively. So we need to pay attention to the conditions under which we live. And this is this responsibility is placed on individuals. It is placed on communities, it is placed on families, it is placed on our policymakers, our government, and so everybody, it takes in everybody, not just one sector or persons. Everybody takes in, so that we can pay attention, we can address this. And if we really address those determinants, we can improve health risk.
All right.
Yeah.
Once again, Ms. Belfon, I want to thank you a whole lot for sharing information this morning. I certainly hope there were listeners and viewers this morning who may have agreed a whole lot in terms of what you said and mentioned, and certainly do appreciate you being here this morning.
Thank you for having me, and it's a pleasure.
All right. Hey, folks, that's where we take a wrap for this edition of the Mid-Morning Buzz here on Classic Radio GBN TV. Until another edition, folks, have a good one.